Okay, let's get started. Like always, none of this is financial advice. Always do what's best for you. Just use this for your education and entertainment purposes only. And let's see here. Here we go. So, as we get people to join, I'll start out with just kind of a quick market overview. It's been a few days since I've been able to post, trying to, got a lot going on, especially with this hurricane in Florida where I live. Luckily, I won't have a direct hit, but I'll definitely feel it. Probably lose power for a few days. I'm thinking we'll go from there. We'll see what happens. I'm not too concerned about it from where I'm located. So we'll start from like the Dow Jones. So again, I've been showing this setup, this top in pattern here. It looks like we finally broke down right there. We broke down the other day, making a lower low. So that should open us up for more downside, at least down to this area, which is 41.4, 41.6. So that's a good 400 points down. So I bet whatever is happening in the futures, I believe this will fade and fail at some point. And this could easily be right now the wave 2. So even today we could get that wave 2. We could even come up, maybe 300 points. But I believe that will drop. We'll have one more like move like that to either finish a corrective bounce and make one more high, right, where we put 4 here. And then this is 5, right? This is 5. So it'd simply be the count would change 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe could tag 44,000. That's what the bulls want. That's what most people have expected, but it's just not going the way they have expected. We haven't taken this high out, this high. Until we take that high out, the bear case is intact. This chart is in play, and the bulls are running out of firepower and probably patience. So that's what's happening here. The SPY, kind of the same thing. Again, topped, came down in 5, up in 2, and now again, want to see it. It could, if it's going to reverse 563s, 562, we could reverse out again, just like the Dow. A little bit different count here, because if the 4 is done here, then you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it's over. And that could get you maybe to 600 if you're lucky, 590. But until that happens, this is in play. Again, looking for this false breakout. This would be a back test of the breakout at 563.7. If that fails and we close below it, while it could still dip here and swing up in this area, I actually think it will probably sell off pretty quickly. The triple Qs, again, I had the top here, 5 down, a short area dump, another short area, and it looks like it's, again, market's very confused with technology. Now, if technology could come back and take out 488.2, then that sets you up for a bigger pump and possibly either a retest of 493.6, or we do make like another high. But with technology, we need to stay below the July peak. A break of the July peak will cause a wave 5 extension, but on a much higher degree, which could actually lead to that melt up rally that some people think we could have. That would be the first sign that melt up type, like a super blow off top, where maybe even the SPY goes beyond 600. Like that would be the first indication that would be happening, is a break of the July high on technology index. But right now, there's no reason to think that can happen. IWM is got a couple counts. It could still be in this wave B to come all the way back down, then get C, or the count's off a little bit and we've already topped, which is possible, where this is a 1, 2, and this is 1-2-1-2. I don't like trading it because it's just too many possibilities. Bitcoin looks like it made its 3-swing bounce and should be turning lower for the buy at 57.8. If we could recapture 64.6, then I believe this is negated, and Bitcoin will continue higher, eventually breaking this high. And then this was some kind of flat correction where you put the 1 there and it was an ABC. But I don't want to go with that count, and I don't want to FOMO in. I just want to get a good setup. If it's a good setup, it's a good trade. If it does no setup, then I won't chase it. Oil looks like we're pulling back. Oil looks like it has bottomed, had a major low, and it is pushing higher. Now, the problem I've got with oil is a couple things. I think oil is very important for the market. We didn't break this low here, so that means we're still in a bigger connector. Something like this is in play. It wants to break that weekly cycle so bad, but it hasn't quite done it yet. The RSI has bottomed out here, taken that out. So I look at oil. Oil's in a very interesting, it's in a situation where if we can get follow through on this wave 5 and break $80, then certainly we're in a new bull cycle higher on a weekly cycle time frame. In the energy market, you definitely want to be long by the dips. Now, if we can't do that and we start to collapse in the next 5 days, then my previous chart comes back into play where we just dropped to 56, and then we could come out of that. So it's and then this was just a 3-swing bounce. So I'm labeling it like this for now, but I believe we'll know very soon if we'll get this 5th wave, and a lot of people are watching Israel, the Middle East, and every day that goes by and they don't attack again means maybe they've changed their mind, right? Remember, Iran was a big bark, and they waited and waited, and nothing happened for quite a while, and the markets recovered. Maybe Israel's like, okay, we'll wait and see who's president, and then we'll attack. And, because their strategy will definitely be different, whether they know Bush is coming in or Harris is coming in. So maybe it's better to just wait that out. So perhaps nothing's going to happen in the oil market until after our election in November, which will allow oil to start to dump again into this area, and then post-election may make their move. Just pointing out some ideas here. Gold, still I think in this wave 4, but gold's running out of time. If it can't make it and starts to break down, then the major cycle top is in, and I'll have an epic collapse. Silver, again, I'm pushing for one more swing higher to match gold now. Still ultimately trying to get to $34 if it can do that in this flat 4. Bond market, again, I warned everyone about bonds. This was way before, we knew about the jobs report and all this other stuff. Look, it hit the sell area, buyer in rates, boom, reverse. This low's probably in. Higher rates, here we come. The 2-year, higher rates, here we come. The 7-year, higher rates, here we come. The 10-year looks like it bottomed early. We don't let's see if we have confirmation on the so important 10-year bonds. Not yet. But the cycle clearly has broken on the weekly, on this leg on the weekly, so I do expect it to break. Now on the overall correction, not yet. But if it does, then the 10-year is started its next cycle higher, and then the 20-year obviously will follow suit in the same manner here. And in fact, the weekly cycle broke. So the 20-year looks like it's put in a significant low early, premature, and will now start its journey higher. And now that we have a pivot, we can kind of project where our rates going on the long ends of the curve for the 20-year bonds, and we can kind of try to project this out a little bit, and we're looking at somewhere around 9.3%, 10.5, maybe as high as 12.5. I know these are unthinkable targets. I know this is information that is hard for people to follow me the process. I know people will not follow me with this news, but they haven't followed me for a long time. But every move has been right so far in the bond market that I predicted. And so if this plays out, how can the indices go any higher? This is going to be an economic calamity for the government and for general, Americans. And this could be a lot of factors playing into it. Inflation out of control, maybe. Constitutional crisis, government issues, debt, people abandon the dollar. A lot of problems could create this situation in rates. But that's where it's going. I wish I had better news. If you're in interest rates, if you didn't lock in your rate, you may want to do that. And then let's project the 2 year. So let's go to the 1 year. So where do we think the Fed is going to ultimately go with interest rates? Let's take a look and see. Again, if these pivots hold, no, maybe they won't. Looks like Fed will have to go to 10% with their rates at some point at the end of the decade. They'll be at 10%, more than likely, double digits. That's what's coming. Get ready, guys. Get ready. That's probably going to define the reason why the indices are going to, that's going to play into it. Especially if China's pumping. If China really does want to print money, just print currency and flood the system, buy up commodities with it, well then, what do you think is going to happen? We're going to have to pay the price with inflation. Now, China today, their investors were disappointed because I guess China wasn't as, aggressive with their follow through on the stimulus talk. At least that's what some people said they said. Again, like I mentioned on my last channel, I don't speak Chinese. I didn't hear any news of a stimulus. I just saw some billionaires get on CNBC and said that's what they said and I should buy like them. Well, this is what happens when you follow people on TV that think they know what they think they heard what they heard, and you just trade the news, and then you end up with a candle like that. And what do you think is going to happen? This is a corrective bounce, a perfect X wave, a perfect WXY, and now we grind lower. A lot of trap money and a lot of fools that chased this. And again, a lot of people were mad at me for saying that because they wanted to believe so bad. But that's what happens when you trade the news, guys. You get trapped because the news is used to trick you, fool you, make you do what you're not supposed to do. Logic, in like understanding the market dynamic would have prevented this FOMO. But this was the worst day in the Hang Seng Index since Lehman Brothers collapse. And we'll see if we get follow through or not. And I covered every Bitcoin. I covered oil. Let's go to the VIX real quick. The VIX has always been predicting this little correction we've been in. What's been impressive is the VIX has built now almost to a higher high, yet the indices are being supported. So people are desperate. People being Aladdin, the guys that control the market makers that can't have it crash before the election because they think that will help the incumbent party. Those people are supporting the market, but eventually they will give up and capitulate because they'll run out of firepower. But they're desperately buying it, but they're pissing into the wind here. The VIX is telling you everything you need. The VIX is ready to squeeze out. And when it does, you'll get that capitulation in the market. The UVIX on the shorter time frame made a higher high here. This opens the UVIX up for much higher prices, which should easily take out this peak. So the UVIX is also showing you that this dip here is a dip to buy today, but I would wait for a nice three swing like look to go long on that too today. So I believe we get a wave 2 across the market on the upside, and you'll get some kind of wave 2 action. And again, it could retrace pretty deep if it wants to, but I still believe this will finish. And then when this finishes, if wherever it finishes, the market will be at a point where it could find more support for a bigger bounce, a more multi-week rally that could still be counter trends or possibly get you to new all-time highs. But until then, that's why I see the market, whatever bounce we're in here should fail. It should fail, whatever we're doing this morning. And again, people in the morning, they love to pump the futures to get the suckers to buy in the morning, to chase it, and then they dump you midday. I mean, this has been the setup all week, most of the time a week, but people keep falling for it for some reason. It's kind of silly, but they do. As soon as like 4:01 p.m. hits, all of a sudden the markets surge higher. You're like, why is that? We were down 400 points. In fact, we were down more than that in the last 5 minutes. It surged up. So who panic buys in the last 5 minutes, and who panic buys at 4:05 p.m.? I wonder, but it's not. It's the manipulation tactic to prime the pump so that all the amateurs can come in and dump their money as they dream about riches, and they say, oh, it's going to the moon. And then then they wait to midday, and then they look at the setups for shorts and they dump. And that's what's been happening. And that's what's been happening all in this top-end pattern right here, really since September 18th. And I don't see it not stopping until we get some resolution to the election, how that goes, how we get some resolution to Israel situation, and now even this hurricane. How much destruction will that create, and political destruction. I mean, this is a Katrina moment for Harris in some ways, not about what she did, what she didn't do. And she can go ask George W. Bush what happened and what he learned from that. I believe that was right before his, I know he was in ready to leave. He was done his 8 years, but that didn't help things for his popularity and the Republican Party going into the election. But I'm just saying that many politicians, and not just president candidates, you can go back in history with governors, careers have ended with poor response to hurricanes and natural disasters, careers of over instantly, political careers. And so the general public, whether you're independent or Democrat, they get pissed off when you don't have any empathy and compassion and take all the steps you need. They hold you accountable. That's what political history says. And I believe that's why everything surged. DJT surged up, her polls plummeted, and it's all tied to this North Carolina, Tennessee issue. But now we got part 2, and we'll see if she can, in her administration, could have a second chance, and we'll find out. So it's time for super chats, guys, and we'll go in to your questions, and we'll see how things go. Let's start from the top, and we'll start with Zimmer. So Zimmer had a straight down crash correction that scared a lot of people, which they usually do. But now we need to kind of see what are we doing here. So straight down crash correction. Now, I still call this 5 up, and this was a 1-2, really extended wave 2. As long as we're above 1822, it's bullish, and it should pull out of this funk. And when it does, then we should get the breakout. That's the setup. If we don't get that, if we break this, then this is a shallow connector, and you have a 3-wave move, right? If that low breaks, it's going to be this, and then you're probably looking at you're going to break 16, and then you have to start thinking you're still in this bigger wave 2 in a flat correction in an A, B, C, and you'll drop to 14, 13, and then come out. But since we made a higher high, whatever happens here, fast forward 4 or 5 months, we'll be up here, almost certain. But the path could be very painful for people who FOMO'd in, who put their whole stack in on the breakout, momentum traders, dumb money, they're all being blown up. And that may continue in this stock until this sequence finishes. Now, like I said, this crash correction technically could end here. You really need that low to hold. If that low can hold, then it should continue higher in wave 3. And hopefully we'll get some really good price action to the upside today in this, as this wave 3 should take shape today. But there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee, but we did get the bounce here like I wanted. We got a good bounce, but now it has to hold the structure. All right, Lynn, next question, EDR. Let's take a look at EDR. Endeavor Group. So let's take a look at where we are with it. So, looking at this, it looks like that's 3 down from this peak, and then it only looks 3 up. So what we'll have to do is, there's not enough data to probably chart this properly. So we'll have to just label it in 3 waves so that we don't have a clue. We don't know if it's bullish or bearish. We just know if it's swinging, it's going to go in 3 waves. And now we have to just play those waves out, because there's not enough chart data. So now it looks like you're in some kind of wave C here, right? And now typically you just need an impulse to finish out that wave C, right? And that probably is a race divergence, so it's continuing to extend higher, right? So it looks like it's got more upside. It can easily take this high out, but it may not. So because there's just not enough chart data. So as long as you're like a couple things, as long as the daily trend line is above this line, it's bullish in the daily cycle. As long as you have divergence erased, it's bullish. And then the weekly cycle clearly is at a peak, but the daily cycle, to me, would want a bigger pullback and one more high with bearish divergence to mark the top. As you could see, you have a lot of 4s and 5s that should play out more. I would expect more upside, and I would be waiting for a daily pullback, another high with bearish divergence, to know that this C leg is almost over. And once it's over, it could make another 3 swings down and break these lows. It could pull back and go even higher. But because there's not enough data, we just don't know. All right, next is GROY. So GROY, we're looking for this wave 2 to end at any moment. And it looks like it's probably already done that. As you could see, the cycle on the daily is already broke higher. The weekly as well here. So it's 2 is already done. So now it's in a new bull cycle higher. And this looks like a 1-2-1-2 setup. This looks like it's going to have a really good day today. That's what this looks like to me. But do what's best for you. I can be wrong. And then higher. All right, Anonymous, thanks again. Yeah, so far so good. Probably lose power, but it's just life in Florida. We just have to deal with these things that come up. And sometimes if you get that direct impact, you got to leave. Luckily, I don't have to do that. So let's go through yours. Indo, INDO, real quick here. Indo's been pumping. Right? People were, again, angry with me because it went down lower, right? At first to 2, and then it's pumping. And now people are like, oh shit, I got rid of it because I thought you were wrong. They're just not patient. And again, I keep telling traders, you have to be patient. So there's your wave 4 entry. It's already hit it. So is a dip buy right here, right now on our channel, but I believe you'll be dip buying this wave 5, And that means, as you know, what happens after wave 5, guys, it pulls back, and we know this thing can pull back hard, right, and take time, and you need patience. So if you have neither of those and you buy the wave 5 and you decide that you want to just, put all your stack in, you'll end up losing everything. So you know what I mean? So just you got to know how to trade this properly. You got to know what you're doing here, man. But there you go. There's the dip buy. It's already we're watching it live. Hit our buy area and hopefully play this wave 5 out. And hey, if we're lucky, it's another 1 2, and then it's just moon, right? A moonshot. So I don't know. I mean, I don't want to. I'm just showing you a conservative count, But I do believe this is probably where I'm thinking, because this is kind of matching the count with oil. And then, like I said, there's a big pullback, right? A 3-wave pullback. And how it might go all the way back down like that. So that's possible. The other possibility, it's 1 2 1 2, and it's just that it's gone, and that's it. And we're watching it build live. We just watched it go up 2-3%, like in seconds as we're watching the live stream. So that's Indo. And even if it fails, it's a buy in 3 around this area at 350. If this 5 comes in, 350. All right, crypto. So crypto again is very dangerous to be trying to trade it here, because Bitcoin, the better way to trade crypto is looking for a pullback. This would be a good opportunity. Now, if we could take this high out, then crypto's lows in. It's just going to keep going higher. Now, some people are saying, chart pattern traders, when we tag the 68,000 area, crypto's just going to collapse with the market crash. Now that, I can't rule that out. We can't rule that out. So you better manage your risk in this pattern, because there is, I'll have to draw this a little bit better there. So I'll tell you, when you get to the 69,000 area, there is a chance this could collapse just like that, and this will top out and collapse. So I don't know the future. I can't predict it. I'm not a fortune teller. I just know if we break this 64 here, this 64,592, we should get 68, 69. Which means these other stocks you mentioned should go higher. But until that happens, they could be under pressure, and we have to be careful. So let's go to MIGI. Again, we're waiting patiently for this wave 5, right? Oh, it's just not happening. But I think it's going to. So I would just still be patient. I wouldn't. But if it could break 143, then the low's in, and it's off to the races. Right, so right here, it's like stalemate, buyer and seller stalemate. It's like they're staring at each other and they don't know what to do. BCHG hit our buy area, exact reaction we wanted. Look at that. I mean, isn't that beautiful? Like exactly, we got the collapse the minute it hit, boom. So I have to call that 2 in. Now the problem I've got is we don't know if this is a connector or not. So if we break back below 532, it's a connector, and then it's going lower. And then if it's going lower, it's coming back to retest 442 and possibly even break that. The chart is broken. The chart is broken after that. The chart is broken. So, but right now, the way I would label this is like a 1, 2. So it's got to really hold this 543. I think. It's got to hold this 543, and then it could build this wave 3. So this is implying that Bitcoin will be going higher, not lower. But I think we'll have to wait and see what happens. But 533 breaks, then we would be looking for a retest of 444, and if that breaks, then it's a broken chart and we're going much, much lower. And that's the bull setup really is lost in this instrument at that point. Then the divergence look, well, yeah, that's a good point. 4 hour looks good. You see how we bottomed out there? That's good. So it looks okay. It looks okay. The daily divergence, you know, I don't like that divergence here. I mean, I would have liked a little bit bigger, but like it actually looks like there's a little bit. So this could be the a little clue saying that it's going to fail and it is going to break this low. But the technical setup and the trade was there. I mean, that was the trade. That was a trade. Like you could have bought it here at the 530 level, got a hell of a bounce to 620, and maybe you sold half, and then you let the half ride, or maybe you took it all off and you'll get back in later, or you can hold it and then just stop yourself out at your entry for a very minimal loss, you know, pennies, right? Because you got in at the right point. So there's a lot of ways to play it. But if you bought it up here because you FOMO'd in, well, yeah, then you're blowing yourself up, and you could lose even more. For those who may have done that. LTCN, let's take a look. Yep, hit the buy area exactly. Vertical. Now this made a higher high here. This looks a lot better than the other. So this one looks a little better. Although this, I could label this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's probably how I would label it. So this looks like 5 up. This looks more likely to hold that low than 1265. Like that looks pretty likely. And then we can come out. So that's what we're looking for. So if I look at these two symbols, they're telling me Bitcoin won't go down much more. It may not make that final swing lower. So that's what these are telling me. Now, if we break this low, for some reason we could, then it could be an A, B, C, and then we take another swing down, and then the setup would be at somewhere around 1224. Rebuy it at 1224. But again, if you bought in here at like 13, you'll get stopped out at, maybe like 1266 or whatever, or, so I think, so again, minimal loss, but then you rebuy it later. But this looks like 5 waves up. The only way this doesn't work out is if this was a flat, right? And you see how you erase divergence right there on that wick. There's no dirt. So that means more than likely it's not a flat. But we'll have to wait and see. There we go. There's a setup. Okay, Les L, let's go to yours. R, short, R. Let's take a look. R. I assume you mean Ryder. Man, this is a pretty bullish chart. So a lot of bearish divergence here, but not between this. So between this peak and that peak, there is no bearish divergence. So you have to be careful. We actually have to go to a quarterly time frame to do this properly. So here you could see the whole cycle reset on that low with bearish divergence. Again, this is what we're seeing across the stock market, right? You see how you had many years of bearish divergence and it finally gave way. You finally got that. This is like the indices are like here right now. Like this is kind of like telling you like what may happen to the indices. So I feel like, to me, this chart looks like, something like that, right? And clearly you're in a wave 3. So you're in a wave 3. So now it's like, okay, you want to short a wave 3. Not advisable. It is tempting, but let's see where it could pull back. So it is in an area where it could pull back, but could also extend to 184. So if you short here, it could even go to 184 for wave 3. So I don't see a short setup, but let me look at the smaller time frames. You know, clearly you're in a larger degree wave 3 right now. So I think again, the better way to trade this would be to wait for pullbacks and go long, because it's got a lot of 4s and 5s yet to happen. So here, and you're still in, I think, a 3 of 3 moment. Not sure why it's so bullish. I guess everyone's moving out or whatever, but this is the chart. So I don't see a good short setup. I just see like a wave 3 price action, no divergence here, taking that peak out. So you're still in a 3 of 3 moment. You're in a 3 of 3 moment in this instrument. And so it's not, I mean, I wouldn't recommend a short, but you know, maybe you'll get lucky and it works out, because there should be a pullback, right? It's pretty extended, but technically I'm just not seeing like a good opportunity to do that here. Even as I labeled out the smaller degree time frames, right? See, even that extended. See how it's extending? It just keeps erasing divergences, and so it's just really tricky to do this. So it looks like maybe if you're lucky, this impulse is ending soon, and then unless it extends again, and then you could get a small pullback to 127, and then they'll keep going. All right, good luck with that. All right, let's see. MU, yeah, how's Micron doing? How's Micron doing? Micron is in my, let's see, I think I have it up here. Yep, there it is. Okay. So Micron, we had the right call on earnings, right? That pump and see, and then it failed, just like we expected. We have a lower low. You see that low broke. So now that we have a pivot, we could project a target in Micron. So where's Micron going, right? Where's Micron going? Despite all the bullish fever and semis, Micron is going to come back to 41.89, and in a pretty dramatic way back to this area, which is expected because this is the wave 5. Usually you lose the whole wave 5. There's your wave 4 low. It actually technically makes a lot of sense, and then Micron could moon essentially. But that's probably in the depths of the bear market. It's probably going to take a long time to get down here. I don't see it crashing down unless the indices just have a spectacular crash. I mean, the indices would have to have a 1929 style crash to get it to just drop straight down. But for right now, you know, we'll get some kind of move like that. Then it's going to bounce, right? And it's just going to kind of meander down, and eventually investors will lose patience, and they'll eventually grind lower. So that's what I'm thinking. If we do get the crash correction, just a big crash correction, then obviously the indices have crashed, and we have bigger things to worry about than worrying about dip buy and Micron, because you'll want to dip buy so many other things in that situation than Micron. But this is the chart to set up. So you're still in this wave 2 though. This wave 2 could still push higher. Now if it could take back out 116, then it opens you up for a bigger swing higher, and that could get you to 140. But I think that would ultimately fail eventually too. Okay, JR, GDDY. Oh, GoDaddy. Okay. Let's take a look. So GoDaddy's chart looks like it's been playing out like we've expected. We're in this wave 4. So we have this wave 5. We're in this wave 5 right now that needs to finish up. Now, I could do this, right? Did very well. So we need to go check the RSI out to see. I could label it this way. And then the major 3 is in, the major top. Let's take a look at where we are with it. Let's go to the weekly. Not quite. You can't really call the major top in yet. Let's go to the monthly. Not yet. Clearly, this impulse is over. This one. So I'm going to label it based on the RSI I have in front of me, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's already in the major top. But it's probably at this. It's the RSI supports this this degree right now, and then after that, so it's going higher. Look, it's got to go higher, even in the other situation. Now the question is how deep is this wave 4 going to go? Is this a connector wave or not? Well, we don't know. So your question is, when the short stop out, sell the short. So it's a short on a smaller time frame against this peak at 161. We'll have to go to the 45-minute chart and look at this structure, this wave. And as you can see, there's very little divergence here at this bottom. So this could easily be a corrective move here. And then if we look at this bounce, let's take a look. We don't have so we have like we're in a we don't really have clues in this wave. And then this looks like it's in 3. There's some divergence. So I would be labeling it for another swing lower. So I'm going to label it this way. With the buy at 142. So the short setup, if this, again, I can be wrong, right? We've talked about this, I can be wrong, but the short setup if it is something like this now. So it's against 161 because you can break 157 and still be corrective. So the short setup is here right now against 161, let's say 162. And then you cover at 142, 143. That's the short setup. That's the short setup. And so you take your profit at 143. You short here. You close it at 162. It's a big risk. It's a lot to lose because the better opportunity was back here. Now, if it wants to pump back up to 159, then that's even better. But looking at this chart, it doesn't look like look at that candle. It looks like it's not going to do that. Now, if it does, then you would come in here, which would be the ideal situation right there. Here, it's really risky to go in short here. But I don't really particularly like it, although you do get this lower low here with divergence. So there is a little bit of an edge to the short seller by shorting against this peak. But there's no guarantee. So good luck. All right, let's take a look at AMC, our meme stock basket. So AMC is getting pretty extended here. We need to go to the extended hours. Let's take a look at where we are with everything. So we did break that low. So so that negates the triangle. So now we have to look at a different structure here. Again, the line in the sand is this low here for $4. This is a mess. This is it's again still corrective. So it's the right way to label it. Again, I'll do my best. If the triangles negate it, then it'd have to be something like this, kind of back to what we originally had. And then this has got to be in 3. And that looks like it's in 3. Yeah, so as you could, it looks like, okay, there's our first impulse. I can see it here. Could need just one more low, but it's technically close. I could be off. You know, this is very difficult chart to label properly. Now, you see all that bullish divergence here. I want to see that come down and take those out. But what's the daily is the most important, and you did take it out. You just took it out. You see that? You just took it out. I like a little more capitulation. We don't really have it. That's why I would like to see ideally one more push lower with some more capitulation. But right now what this looks like to me is a 4-wave. Something like that. So I'll be looking for that. And again, as long as it's above $4, it's okay. But once 4 breaks, then we could have some problems with the chart. But ultimately, whatever happens, it's still a connector wave. So it technically can break it and still rally. It will just be hard to trade and gauge where it will end up. But I do believe Y will happen. This wave will happen. I just, unfortunately, can't predict the future. And again, a lot of traders are impatient. They put their whole stack in. They do stupid things. They didn't buy it when they were supposed to. And so now they're biting their fingernails, not sleeping at night. And this could easily drop a little lower or capitulate down and then come out. But based on the swings I'm seeing, I'll just label it that way. Do what's best for you. I say there's really I don't see a good trade setup other than maybe if you could get that 5th wave, erase divergence, then you could like take the leap of faith, buy it, and then maybe you got your lottery ticket will be punched and you'll win the lottery that day and you'll get the X wave and you'll be a genius. That's the only setup because it's such a mess in this connector. There's probably other ways to label this even better than I have, but I'm not like an Elliott wave PhD, right? It's not to me a scripture, a holy scripture that I look at each verse and try to interpret and spend, days and days dissecting, the literature on Elliott. Like I do it quickly because I got to get in and out of these trades. I don't have time for that shit. So I apply it the best way I can. But anyway, good luck. How do you see what targets? How do you see and what are targets for MC? Okay, well, let's take a look at MC. And by the way, AMC, dude, $5. It's $5 for a symbol, but I didn't notice, but that's cool. I do AMC because I know a lot of people like AMC, so I did that one for our followers too. All right, so here you go. I think someone asked me this. Maybe it was you. It's in a there. That's the 4. Look, beautiful 3 waves. I mean, beautiful, right? It's so beautiful right here. Now the weekly had a little bit of divergence there. It's not ideal. So what that also means is it could also actually bounce and fail one more time. So you don't want to like fall too much in love, but technically this is an area where it should have a more substantial bounce. And then it could either fail or make this 5th wave. So I do believe, it should be building higher from here off that low. It should be building higher. Very impulsive, right? I could just draw this up like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice 3-wave pullback right here. And let's see, that would get you to the 627 area for a second trans entry here to try to play that wave 3, but it looks like we've already bounced there. So it looks like it's probably already done that wave 2 here. So I would be looking for that type of price action, something like that. So to me, as long as because that bounce is so significant, I mean, I think actually be conservative. I think as long as 581 holds, it's a buy the dip bullish instrument for wave 5, and then an epic collapse. If again, unless divergence is erased, but it looks like you'll have massive divergence. But when this makes fifth wave, you'll have a massive bearish divergence. I doubt it's going to be able to come out and take that out. There would have to be like a massive company specific, like bullish, piece of news to do that. Okay, Carl, let's go to yours. NLY, let's take a look there at yours here. NLY. So NLY here, we don't really have a good wave 3 here, It looks like to me could be in a 1-2-1-2 setup too, even something like this potentially, right? It could be something like this, right? Now that looks like 5 down. Yeah, I'm just going to go with the classic label on this because I don't think it's that bullish. But I'm going to go with this labeling for now, which means we should drop back down to this area here. So this is a connector wave that's about to fail. It should be a connector wave that's on the verge of a fail. You see how it's angling down already on the monthly? So I believe it's about to enter a big bear market here, and that should drop you to the buy area 770 eventually in this area. So I think it's a classic ABC correction that is going to come to an end. I think that's the way to label it. I think that's the right way to label this from Elliott wave standpoint, but I don't think it's the really super bullish setup that I showed. I think this is the right setup. Very classic Elliott wave, like advance and decline, and then long rocket ship. If it could still be around, because like I've always tell people, in the grand super cycle, when it corrects of a symbol, the company can go out of business, and there's no guarantee it will ever come back to that high. So this is the grand super cycle, and so there's no guarantee that it could recover. It could just go to zero and go bankrupt, be taken over, be gone out of the market. But if it could stay around, there is an opportunity here. Pfizer, yeah, how's that one doing? I haven't looked at that one in a while. See them on the news occasionally, We're looking for that fifth wave, right? We needed that fifth wave. Oh, I wonder if we got that. We're close. I want to see this fifth wave. Okay. Now this looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's a good sign for the bulls. So we really need to get this fifth wave. And then it should pull back again pretty deep back down to 27. Now there's always a chance it won't do that, right? There's a chance it's a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and it just moons. So as long as it's above 28 bucks, this is the most conservative chart in the most likely path. But if it breaks this $28 level, then this is just a corrective bounce. And then it's opened you up to a retest of this low at 24, which it could break. And if it breaks, then it's like lights out for Pfizer, man, technically. Have an epic meltdown, because then it would correct the whole three waves, bounced here, connector wave, and then I'd have to take a whole new cycle lower. We're talking low $10 is where it would head. So very important technical battle going on here. And, there's a lot of things that I heard on TV the other day, like their weight loss drug was a failure or something. I don't know if that's true. I guess you can research that. That would definitely kill sentiment. There is this vaccine liability thing hanging out. And even though, they have immunity, but I think people are afraid that a future administration will eliminate and get rid of that liability retroactively, like, no grandfathered in shit, like payback. So I think there's some things hanging over the stock that really do worry investors, but there's also really good things about the company they have going forward too, some really unique drugs. So I think that's why it's trading where it is, and people don't really know how to play it. But it is there. It is could be an opportunity of a lifetime for long-term investors if it can pull out of it. If it could pull out of it. And good luck. Okay, Victoria. Let's go look at Elf real quick here. I think we looked at that before. That name sounds familiar. All right, so we should be pushing down. So we have that bullish divergence here. I think this wave 4 is already played out, this bigger bounce. I think it was just a shallow wave 4. Right, 1, 2, 3. Actually, probably put it right here. And now we're in this like 5th wave. So, I mean, it is so hard to like find the exact bottom of an impulse. Now, I mean, if you look, it only looks like 3 down, right? It only looks like 3 down. Right? Something like that. You want to maintain this bullish divergence. You need that bullish divergence to show the impulsive nature of this move. And then also on the shorter time frames, you want to see it as well. Now see how you have this peak, that peak took it out. So this is extending. So what that tells me is we're in a higher degree still. So I actually I wouldn't label it like that anymore. I would go back kind of to where we were with it. So we'll have to go back and relabel it, looking at the shorter time frames a little bit differently, so it is starting to extend a little bit to the downside, which is something you need to be aware of as that plays out more. So now it's a 3. So again, so still looking for, more downside. What we need to see on all the time frames, we need to see some bullish. So it's good we have bullish divergence here, but in this leg you don't have it. We need that. That would signify we're in this 5. Once we know that, then we have more confidence we're almost at the low. Until we really see that, then we know it's probably got more downside coming. So we probably need a bounce and then one more low to create that 45-minute divergence, bearish divergence. So I think there's more downside, but I wouldn't go in it. But there's this bigger bounce coming in this 4, which is, you see how big this 2 was. This 4 could be pretty substantial bounce, but most likely will fail. Most likely will fail when it happens. that will create the bullish divergence we need to see on on all the time, essentially all time frames. We'll need to see it, and then that will be the best like risk lowest risk chance. I mean, I could still be wrong. You could get it, and sometimes they just go up, right? So, but I do believe, like, yeah, this is due to the bounce. The higher time frames need a bounce, but I believe once that happens, it will revert lower, and it'll create more divergence across all the time frames, which is really what this leg needs. All right, let's take a look at Tesla and see how Tesla's doing today. So we did get that dump in the sell area on Tesla. So as long as it's below 264.98, it's in bear mode. And looking at this structure, you have no divergence here. You have a reset. So this looks like a three-wave move down, corrective, not impulsive. That's a good sign if you're a bull, right? That's a good sign. That means you had something like this play out, and now you bounced. So because we have the three-leg decline, there is a potential I say the tradable bounce area for traders. If it could dip down to 223, 217, that would be a good trade opportunity. But more than likely, that will set you up for potentially the move up to the 340s, this much higher, because it looks like with the three-wave nature that this will extend the connector higher. Now this could also be over here. There's no guarantee it will drop. So if you did go long here, just know that, I would stop out at 237.5. But since it's three waves down, I really wouldn't look to short it. It's right where it is now is a long on the short time frame. Then if you stop out, if it could break that low, then I would wait and go long here. That's how I would play that. If this was 5 down, I wouldn't be looking for buy-in dips. I would be looking more aggressive on the short side. But I think this is a clue telling us that Tesla will find support and recover out of this at some point, and not go into the abyss. Unless it's a lead-in diagonal, right? And it could always be that, but we'll need more data to see that. If it's a lead-in diagonal, if it's something like this, if we see that fifth wave and we come back up, then we'll know, okay, it's a lead-in diagonal, it's a trap type situation for longs. So anyway, so that's why if we break this low, I would wait to buy it back here. I wouldn't just like buy it at 234, because it could do that and then drop, in that lead-in diagonal play. So anyway, the setup was short back in this area. That played out, but now it's kind of like a stalemate with maybe a slight edge to the bull long side of the market, given how we declined. All right, I'm just going to kind of scan through what you guys have in right in here. Thanks for all the hurricane thoughts. We'll be all right. Anyway. Yeah, it's a big storm. Yeah, guys, it's a big storm. Lithium and all that shit's been pumping because oil. So like I said, guys, if oil is interesting, because if oil does moon early, we've seen rates turn early. If oil is turning in a major cycle degree higher, then all the green stocks are going to turn as well, including lithium. So we have to be nimble as a trader and not get set in our conviction of like what we wish the market could do on what we hope. So again, I have oil in this if we don't get this fifth wave, it's still corrective. Now, if oil is going to do this collapse, Israel backs down, or they wait so long, traders just run out of patience, then all those energy, all those lithium and green stocks will all dump with it. Now, if that doesn't happen and we get this fifth wave, or it's a 1-2-1-2 and we moon out of this, and we get this set up to 110, then all those stocks are going higher. And again, if it's here at X, and we have the whole new cycle, which it very well could be, then those stocks are going to the moon. But when oil's trading at 220 a barrel, people will be screaming and yelling for EVs all over the United States. There won't be charging anxiety will go out the door because no one could just afford to fill their tank anymore. I mean, everyone's going to want EVs. NIO will be begged to come into the US market for cheap car. Like, it's going to change the complexion of everything. So I feel like we're seeing the signs of that happening a little bit, but it's not like, oh, it's all clear, just buy PLL. And no, it's just something, hey, okay, we got to keep an eye on it because, yeah, the market is going to do what it's going to do, right? We wanted to see a bigger capitulation in oil. We didn't get it. Now, we still may get it later at 110 in this kind of move, right? Which would pump the EV and then dump everything again. And then it stabilizes and we can come out of it. So I think right now we don't know. We need more data. We need to really see how oil plays out this wave 4 here. Are we getting a wave? Are we going to get this 5th wave or are we not? So if it's a wave 4, oil would bottom out at 73 bucks right here. So it's got more downside, and then we'll see what the market wants to do with this 5th wave or not. If we cut through 72, 71, then I would be concerned. It's a corrective bounce and the $50 oil is back in play. It maybe that's a sign that Israel's backing down or delaying their response to where investors are now trapped. Also, there's in oil a lot of this China stimulus crap where people that FOMO'd into China, believing they were going to do what they were going to do, got tricked, and now they're panicking too. Those people that was in that. That was probably in this. There's also dynamic in oil, the recession. Like there's clearly a slowdown in the economy, in earnings and things, and so people get nervous of that. So there's a lot of dynamics. So it's not one news story driving it. It's a lot. That's why you can't trade the news in oil. You just trade the chart. So the chart says if this is a 4, we'll bounce here and get a 5. That will give us our long-term direction. That will let us know, okay, let's be aggressive in the EV market. Let's go fish. Let's go shopping. Because a lot of those things are so beat up, it doesn't matter. Like if they're so down, like they're not going to be that much off their highs at that point. But then we'll have the clue we need. But right now, I wouldn't touch any of that stuff. So looks like I got done everything here, and looks like the market did reverse like I expected on this futures, and we could be seeing down 300 points here. 300 is what I'm thinking. 300 on the Dow. How about the triple Qs? If it could take out that 488, 488, then we could be seeing a bigger move in tech. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Bitcoin looks like it made a wick here. It looks like it's starting its leg lower. Yeah, interesting. How's the VIX? UVIX. There was almost a buy in the UVIX the other day. Again, it's in a wave 2. So we'll have to let this play out. It's too early to say where we're going with it, but it is fine. Market is finding pressure. I expected it would. And now we'll have to just wait and see how it plays out from here today. But good luck, guys, trading. I really appreciate it. And it looks like I got one more super chat. NVIDIA came in. All right, let's take a look at NVIDIA. Let's take a look. So this was like the ultimate bear chart that every trader had, and it negated it. So what does that mean? Right, and it also took this high out here. So that I think tells you where we are with the cycle, right? I think that tells you everything. I think that you could put the 4 here now, and now you're in this 5th wave, right? So I believe NVIDIA will now finish out this cycle. Now this 3 wave is a major multi-year cycle top. when it happens. So it looks like to me you've got something like this playing out now. And this could be like a run-in flat of some kind. Since it's this could also be a lead in diagonal, so it could be like a three-wave move. So I think I would just label this. You see the RSI is about to take the peak out. The wave 3 is coming. The squeeze is starting. The FOMO is catching on, and everybody's just got the fever again in NVIDIA. So looking at it, let's do this. I think we label it that way. We label it this way, and this is like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But once you took this high out here, then the bear setup's essentially lost unless it makes a massive three-wave move, but it's probably going to break the high. But just so you know, once you break this high at 142, it could be done at any moment, and it could crash down spectacularly. So just so you know. And what degree is that wave 3 again? Just to show you, it goes all the way back to the dot-com bubble bursting. So that's the cycle. So we're talking like a major multi-year correction when it's finished, this final swing here. So it's a tough chart. It's really tough to trade it. But I mean, now it looks like the bulls have taken back control of this market for this final push higher. That's what it looks like. But I wouldn't expect like it's just going, but I think it's a very small new high, and then that should do it. That should do it. You see, you got that bearish divergence on the higher. Let's go to the higher time frames. So you see, like when we make a higher high, we're gonna have massive bearish divergence. Eventually, all that will roll over. So that's the future. But anyway, it's day trader battles. This chart is susceptible to a lot of error given where it is. I'm just giving you my best opinion, but it's definitely one that I'm not interested in trading because there's too many possibilities and it's just too hard to trade that. Oh, I got another super chat coming in, IEP. Yeah, we've looked at that one before. It's been a while since we checked that one out. What's going on with this thing? So we got this 1, 2, 1, 2. So we're still stuck in this wave 2. A lot of bullish divergence, but it's a flat correction, so that's what you'll expect to have that. But we need to label it and just see where things are technically. So this chart has got a lot of problems because you have a 1, 2 here, right? And then you have a 1, 2 here. And then this is not good. This isn't good. A lot of dip buyers trying to buy the dip, and that's why it's setting up like this 1, 2, 1, 2, our first extension down. So you see a lot more downsides coming. So yeah, this 2 is going to go a lot lower. It's extending. It's probably going to come all the way back down to this area down here, down in this these areas of support, historical support. So I would expect more downside. And honestly, we haven't really even, I don't think we've really even seen the wave 3 yet. You got some like massive descending triangle that just broke down. And it's in a backtest mode that probably is going to fail epically. So that's what I see here. But good luck trading it. I would say it doesn't look good for Icon Enterprises right now. All right, that's all I got today, guys. Good luck trading. Talk to you all later, and we'll see how this hurricane does. If I lose power, I won't be posting obviously.